I asked you this week about a question you had about prayer, faith, or doing this whole thing sustainably, and you answered. In fact, some of you got really honest, which tells me the content this week hit something real. So let's get into it. Before I answer the questions, I want to say something about the people who sent them. You're not alone. Whatever you're wrestling with, the hollow feeling, the distance, the belief that I don't feel it, those aren't personal failures. That's the human condition. The fact that you're asking really means something. The people who've given up aren't asking. So let's go. Question number 1. I pray, but nothing changes. Is prayer even doing anything? First, I feel that deeply. Here's what shifted for me in this question. I spent years evaluating prayer by outcomes. Did the thing I prayed for happen? If yes, prayer works. If no, I just prayed harder. But that's treating God like a vending machine, input, output. The Psalms don't work that way. David prays, nothing changes in his circumstances for psalm after psalm. What changes is David. Psalm 73 is the clearest example. Asaph starts a psalm angry. The wicked are prospering. The righteous are suffering. It's not fair. He's about to give up. Then he goes into the temple, into the presence of God, and he writes, "When my heart was grieved and my spirit embittered, I was senseless and ignorant. Yet I'm always with you. You hold me by my right hand." Verses 21 and 23. Nothing in his circumstances changed. His ability to hold the circumstances changed. That's what prayer does. Not always what we want, but something we might need more. Question 2. How do I pray when I'm angry at God? Pray angry. Seriously, don't clean it up. Psalm 44 says this, a psalm nobody preaches on opens, "But now you have rejected and humbled us. You are no longer go out with our armies," in verse 9. That's accusatory. That's bold, and that's honest. God can handle your anger. What he can't do much with is your performance. C.S. Lewis wrote, in A Grief Observed after his wife died, "Not that I'm in much danger of ceasing to believe in God. The real danger is of coming to believe such dreadful things are about him." And yet he kept writing to God in that book, kept the conversation going. That's faith, not the absence of anger, the refusal to stop the conversation. Question 3. I lead a team at work. They don't know I'm struggling. Should I be more honest with them? This is the one I spent the most time on. Yes, but carefully. There's a difference between vulnerability and venting. Vulnerability says, I'm working through something and it's making me think differently about this. Venting says, I'm a mess, and you know what? And somehow that's your problem. The research on this, particularly Brené Brown's work on rumble leadership, is very clear. Leaders who can model appropriate vulnerability build more loyal, more resilient teams. But here's the thing I'd add. Your team needs to know you're a human before they need to know you're struggling. If the only time you show up as a person is when something's wrong, that's not vulnerability, that's crisis. Build the relational equity first. Question 4. You talk about ancient wisdom a lot. Does that actually hold up in modern life? Every time. Here's one example. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, built their entire philosophy around one idea. Separate what you can control from what you can't and invest your energy only in the former. Modern psychology has a name for this too. It's the locus of control. Research shows that people with an internal locus of control, who focus on what they can actually influence, have significantly better mental health outcomes. The Stoics figured that out in the 2nd century AD. The difference I'd add as a person of faith, the Stoics say you can do this alone through reason and will. I think the reason and will run out. And when you need then isn't a philosophy, it's a relationship. That's why I hold the ancient wisdom and the scripture together. They're not competing, they're completing each other. And one thing I want to say before we close, this week was about not performing for God, about being honest instead of polished. And a lot of you told me that was the permission you needed. You don't need my permission, but if you needed it, you have it. Come as you are, not as you should be, not as you'll be when you've gotten it all together. As you are right now, today, that's the whole invitation. Thank you for sending me your questions. Thank you for being honest. And if you've been watching this week and haven't subscribed yet, this is what we do here every week. We offer some teaching on faith, leadership, peak performance, ancient wisdom, made very practical. Hit subscribe if that's the conversation you want to be a part of. And leave a question for the next time we do a question and answer session. I read every question.